More fucking beer from Yorkshire.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. This is a revisiting video from a beer that is probably, in my opinion, as much as it fucking pains me to say it, this stuff here, this old Peculier, is probably, in my opinion, the most famous beer, famous British beer throughout the world. Now, I don't say that lightly because I've seen this available in places where I never would have expected it to be. And I remember this beer from as a kid, and I'll go into the name in a minute, but I do remember this is where for me anyway, when I was a kid, this is where I got the notion that ale, when I wasn't an ale drinker at the time. I mean, you got to remember, I was in my early teens. I've been drinking since I was 13. And I always had the notion that British ales had weird names. And the first beer that always came to mind was Old Peculier, because you could get that down here. I think the Firkin pubs, I don't know if you still get them now, but the Firkin pubs were really big in the sort of, in the 1980s. I do remember there being a lot of Firkin pubs in the United Kingdom, and they specialised in ale. I remember they did one called Dog Bolter, and I remember trying that, and I used to think that was quite nice, and I used to drink that. And I tried it recently at a beer festival, and it was fucking horrible. But that's by the by. Old Peculier, on the other hand, it really is a good beer, and this is a revisit for me because I have reviewed the Old Peculier stuff. Oh, it must be a year ago. But the reason I'm doing it today is because I want to revisit it now, because I've tried so many other beers. I remember this as being a good one, and I want to see how it stands up to the others. But the real reason I'm reviewing it today was I was walking around Morrison's, and there was a bottle of this all on its own, and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to have that, and I'm going to review it again. Now, this isn't going to be one of them ones where I'm discovering new flavours and all that, because I've drank this on draft a few times. They sell it in a Wetherspoons up near Victoria Station. I haven't been there a while now because I've not been going into work. I've just been working from home, and it's a real shame because I probably would have been drinking more of this. And it's really nice when you can get it on cask or on, I don't know whether they do it on keg, but I know they do it on cask. But it's really nice. But it's quite strong. In fact, I do remember it having quite a strong ethanol flavour, but it is a real good beer. And I also want to, as I say, compare it to the other beers that are being brewed, or winter beers that are being brewed. Now this is brewed all year round. It's not a seasonal beer. This is probably the flagship beer of the Theakston Brewery. If you've not heard of Theakston's before, very well known brewery. They've been going since 1827 in the People's Republic of Yorkshire, in a place called, well, they call it Masham. I call it Masham, because if you're going to call a place Masham, you might as well call it Masham and not Massam. See, Northerners, they need to learn how to speak English.
Oh, here he goes.
Anyway, fuck, I'm so dead if ever I go up there. If ever this, do you know what? We're in the middle of a tier 3 fucking lockdown here. The rest of the, well, I won't say the rest of the country, but where I am in Kent, it's tier 3. No pubs open at all. So it really is. But I am not going to let that get me down. A couple of other things I will say about this brewery. They're really good, Theakston's. They spawned the Black Sheep Brewery. I used to think they were really good till I tried some of their other beers. I tried the Black Sheep Ale, that was a good one. Then I tried some of their other stuff and I just thought, nah. There's too many miss beers rather than hit beers coming from Black Sheep, so I've got a bit of a downer on them. Theakston, on the other hand, hard to get hold of. This is testimony to how good and widespread this is, because you can get it down here. I think all the supermarkets, I know Morrison's doesn't all the time, and it's usually they have quite a lot of it. It's sold out, so that's how good it is. And this was the last bottle. I bought the last bottle today, so obviously it's a popular one. Certainly a big one. It's an old, what would you call it? It's an old dependable ale. If you see this, then you just know you're going to get a good one. And I don't even think they list all the camera awards on this, but it's won so many awards. And what the purpose of this one is, I just want to revisit it. I've tried a hell of a lot of beer from different countries over the last year, probably more so than I have ever in my life, and I want to see how this stands up. So let's stop gassing, let's get the beer investigated. .500ml bottle, 5.6%. Now, something inside my head is telling me it's stronger on cask. And I've got it in my head that it's something around the 6% mark. I could be completely wrong on that. Maybe if someone could put it in the comments. But I do remember it being quite strong. But anyway, it's 5.6% in the bottle. And that's unusual because normally it's stronger in the bottle than it is on cask. But I don't know. But this is a real throwback beer. When beer was dark, you had an old... they didn't call it an old ale. But I suppose it is an old ale. It would be classed as an old ale. But it's your original... dark beer. Now this lot were founded in 1827, just at the time when pale ale and IPA was coming into provenance and all that. But this is a throwback to the beer before then, the original dark beer, the stale and the young beer that you used to get. If you really want to know about that, look up my history of IPA, or even the history of porter. You may get some snippets of there, but if you look up the history of IPA, it will give you a sort of clue as to where this one is going. And Theakston Brewery, of course, is a tower brewery. A tower brewery, how it works is basically the raw ingredients going at the top, and it goes through various processes, and it eventually ends up at the bottom, going out to the pubs as beer, as this diagram will tell you. Put that up on the Hook Norton videos as well, some of the Hook Norton stuff, because that is that's an old tower brewery as well, steam driven tower brewery. What does it say on the side of the glass? Oh yeah, about the name. I meant to mention the name. Yeah, Old Peculier. A Peculier is a church that is not affiliated to a diocese. I think that's how it works. And of course, a diocese is like a parish, that sort of thing. I think that's how I've understood it. The church, yeah, but Masham, or Masham, as I like to call it, is it was a Peculier. Well, I think that dates back to it dates back to the 10th century. That's the seal. If you look on the bottle, that is the seal of the Peculier. And there's the bottle. Anyway, let's get this opened and checked out. There is ye olde cap. Can you see that? It's just a seal anyway. But yeah, I must say that the beer is quite dark. And this is how I remember it on cask. It is quite a dark beer. Very in keeping with the old style. It's actually, I think it is classed as an old ale actually. Oh you can just smell the goodness from that one. You really do get some good aromas from that. Quite dark fruit on that. Malt, very malty, and it does contain pale malt, crystal malt, and roasted barley. Roasted barley gives it the colour. Now that might look to you like a stout, but it is actually a very, very dark ruby colour in that, and it's cold filtered and unpasteurised, as it said on the, or it says on the side of the bottle. Cold filtered, unpasteurised. These fucking autofocus, I tell you. I bet it was made in Yorkshire and it's getting back at me. Right, there it is in the glass. Let's get it down the hatch. Oh, it's just beautiful. It really is good. It's quite a cherry style aroma to it. There's quite a cherry style flavour to this as well, like a black cherry. There's a fair bit of sweetness on there too, but there's also some bitterness from that roasted malt, but it really is good. The fruits on this are like cherry and banana, but the finish that you get from them Fuggles hops, it's very, very slightly bitter, but there's even more like a cherry and banana and roasted malt, almost like a chocolate style malt. Very slight hint of coffee on it, but it's just so good. It really is. It reminds me of some of the Belgian brown ales, but with more sweeter fruit and a very subtle hint of bitterness on the finish. Normally you'd get a sweetness with the Belgian brown ales. This, you're getting a bitterness, like a dark chocolate, almost coffee-ish style bitterness, but it just hits the spot, if you know what I mean, when it comes to flavour. And yeah, it's as good as I remember it. Well, I'm saying it's as good as I remember it. The last time I tried it was actually in the summer. That's exactly when it was. And it was when the first lockdown ended. I remember I met a few mates up in Victoria, and I went into the pub, and it was a scorching hot day, but they had Old Peculier on draft, or on cask, and I thought, I've got to have some of this. And it was lovely, but the thing is, on a day like that, I really wanted something a bit more easy going. But I'll tell you something, in the winter months, this is absolutely fantastic. That's just brilliant, it is. I can see why this is so popular. And I remember I bought some of this for a mate of mine over in Germany. He'd never tried it before, and he was bowled over by it. He absolutely loved it. I said, you know, this is going to be, I've got him some Shepherd Neame beers. I've got him the Shepherd Neame IPA, which in my opinion is probably one of the best. I got him the Sam Smith's Pale Ale, and I got him the Old Peculier. I got him the Adnams Broadside, and I got him another one as well, a really good one. And for the life of me, I can't remember. But he rated them all fantastically. He loved the Old Peculier, and he loved the Shepherd Neame IPA. He said that was the best IPA he's tasted, and to be honest, it's the best one I've tasted as well. The Broadside he'd had before, but he loves it. And what was the other one? Oh, it was the Fuller's ESB. He hadn't tried that before, and he said that was an amazing beer. I mean, it was, it still is. But this is up there with these fucking glasses are killing me. The only bad thing about this is it comes from the People's Republic of Yorkshire.
I did not leave the sacred sod of God's own county, Yorkshire.
I'm surprised they let it outside of Yorkshire, because you know what they're like for being tight, the old Yorkies.
Nancy's southern lip merchant who's got more lip than Mick Jagger with a fat lip.
Do you know what? It just dawned on me the other day. I got a Yorkshire Terrier, and he's a little fucker. And I just thought, there's something about dogs from Yorkshire. And Yorkshire Terriers are renowned for being little shits when they want. Oh, that's all right. Percy just puts him in his place when he gets a bit lemon with everyone. But yeah, there you go. But yeah, joking aside, and I know I take the piss out of Yorkshire, but this really is something they can be proud of. We've got our own stuff down here. We've got the Shepherd Neame stuff. We've got the Fuller stuff and all that. Yorkshire's got Timothy Taylor, and they've got Theakston's Brewery. And I know I really want to put this piss taking and rivalry to bed for the moment. You can't say one's better than the other. It's just, for me, it's just a credit to English brewing that you've got people like Fuller's, Theakston's, Timothy Taylor, Shepherd Neame, Adnams, breweries like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, you got your run of the mill stuff like Green King and who's the other one? You've got all the Marston stuff as well, and that really is take your fucking chances with that. But stuff like this, the slightly bigger breweries, not the macro brewers, but the slightly bigger ale brewers, like the four I've just mentioned, they really are a credit to this country. And for me, they do the beer that represents this country, and this beer is one of them. For this stuff, Fuller's have got the 1846, is it? I can't remember the name of it. Memory's fucking shot to pieces. Shepherd Neame have got the 1698. They've got their traditional stuff. Timothy Taylor's have got it used to be called Ramtam. They call it Dark Landlord now. I've actually managed to find some of that online. Noble Green have got some. I've got some of that on the way. That's going to be reviewed as well. They've classed that as a winter beer, which it is. It's like this as well. But yeah, that's what I mean when I'm talking about the best of sort of English beer. And it is a credit to the brewers up in Theakston that they brew something like this. And it, as they say, it's gone all over the world, and it goes to countries where the beer is, their own beer is really well respected. So it must say something that British beer has gone over there, and it's held its own. I mean, this has won so many awards, and to be honest, Theakston's have won so many awards for their beers. So I know I take the piss out of some awards, but the awards that Theakston's have won, and Fuller's and Adnams and Shepherd Neame have won, they're all credible awards, like Camera Awards and the World Beer Awards. They're the ones you should be looking at. All these other two, Bob, I wouldn't say all of them, but there are some that you just look at, and the criteria is you pay them money and they award it. The people that are tasting it know fuck all about beer anyway. And relax, probably French. Probably fucking French. Anyway, relax. This stuff, amazing. So what's the verdict? Well, do I really need to tell you? That is a 10 out of 10. All day long. It's up there for me with the Shepherd Neame 1698. It's up there with the Adnams Tally Ho. That's what I'd compare that to. Even though that is a slightly stronger old ale, that's a really good beer. It really is just representing the flavours of British top fermented ale, and it's keeping that tradition up. And this is what we are known for. Now, you can have 1,000 craft brewers brewing IPA, and I'm not knocking them. There's a market for it, and they're catering for that market. Fucking crack on. I really hope you succeed. But for me, this is tradition, and people laugh at tradition in this country, and I don't know why, because you can lose it. It's very easy, they tried years ago, you know, with the camera, the sandals and the beard brigade, taking the piss out of real ale and all that, but like it or loathe it, this is what we do best, and we always have done. And this is what British beer is all about. This is one of the mainstays of British beer, and it's got such a tradition as well. And I love it, and for me that's a 10 out of 10 all day long. I know I take the piss out of Yorkshire, I know I'm always slagging them off, I know they're going to murder me if ever I go up there, but I cannot deny that is a fucking great beer. That is 10 out of 10, and that is recommended. And remember, Yorkshire is for people from Yorkshire.